Welcome back. It's episode 6 of the Top Button Podcast. I'm your host, Charlie Five. It's still festive in my house. It's because Christmas seems like it keeps on coming. We get another big commit over the past few days. We're going to talk about the 2025 class outlook, and then we're going to talk some bowl chatter. Hey, we got a tackle football game this weekend. So let's lock in, get buttoned, and let's get ready to have some fun. But before we do that, tonight's episode is brought to you by Active Wealth Management. Look, guys, you're not going to get rich off crypto. Okay. Your Acorn account is not going to get you where you need to be. Your savings account at the Wells Fargo is not going to get you ready for retirement. But our boy Ford Stokes at Active Wealth Management can help get you where you want to be in regards to money. So check him out. You visit his website, activewealthmanagement.com, or you can visit his site, annuity360.net, and get his free book that he'll even autograph and send to you. But you reach out to him, tell him War Eagle, big Auburn guy. He's here to help, and he's here to help get you on that pathway to glory. That's what he's here for. So check out give Ford a shout. Tell him I sent you, and be sure to tell him War Eagle. So, guys, like I said, I kept the Christmas tree up for this episode because we just go and land another freaking stud, Antonio Coleman from Saraland, a top defensive line recruit for the 2025 class. And it's just like, man, these guys just keep on going. This wasn't a fluke. This past class wasn't a fluke. They back it up and turn around and land one of the biggest recruits in the state for 2025, Antonio Coleman, and another child from Mobile. Guys, when you follow recruiting like I have, you understand the importance of victories like this. Now, look, I understand he's still got to sign. There's a long time, a lot of things that can happen between now and then. But if anything's based off this past class, the retention of commits was essentially 100%. Okay, you lost Juice Solomon, who you probably could have got back if you really wanted it. But other than that, nobody you lost you were surprised by, or you really cared if you lost or not. So you can say there's a long time between now and then, but hey, we kept essentially 100% of our commits from this past class. You get this guy in early. Little wins like this, men and ladies, are huge. And let me tell you why. Since 2007, Nick Saban's arrival at Alabama, there has not been one recruit from Mobile, not one since Perry Thompson, that Nick Saban and Alabama wanted from the Mobile area that Auburn got, period. There's not been one. We've gotten kids from Mobile, okay? I'm not saying we've never gotten a recruit out of Mobile. I'm saying that there's never been one child from Mobile that Nick Saban locked in on from the 9th grade like he did with Perry Thompson. That's mega involved. That's going on in-home visits up until the week before signing day. The weekend before signing day. It just has not happened since 2007. And not only do you pull off Perry Thompson, then you go in and you take what I would say would be probably one of his top 2 or 3 most important players in the state in 2025. You go and you flip him right after signing day. It's huge, men and ladies. It's huge. It's absolutely huge, gang. I mean, look, we've gotten guys like Auburn has been successful when it's been able to go into Mobile and get kids. Like, you can go back and look at some of the top names that legends of Auburn. You know, your DeMarco McNeils, your Willie Andersons, your Damian Craigs. All these guys are from the Mobile area. And then even guys that we've had incredibly good evals on, like Roger McCreary, under the radar. Senderick Marks, under the radar. Deshaun Davis, probably the most recent kid we've gotten out of Mobile that's been, a big player. I mean, we've gotten kids from Mobile, but we've yet to really been able to go up head to head against Nick Saban, against that, the Mobile is just a big Alabama town. A lot of Alabama boosters, a lot of Alabama fans. It's a big Alabama town, a lot of influence. Since 2007, you have not gotten a a top player that Nick Saban wanted. Period. It's just not. It just hasn't happened. You can say, "Oh, C5, Charlie 5." What about Trey Williams? What about Trey Williams? 5-star. I think 2014 class. It's good. That's a good, great player. Did great at Auburn. You know who Alabama's linebackers were that they got committed? They flipped one from Auburn. Sean Dion Hamilton, 5-star, and then closed with Rashaan Evans, 5-star. Didn't really push that hard for Trey. I don't really don't know why. Trey had a great career. He wasn't, a top NFL caliber linebacker like these other two guys were, but he was a great player. Ended up being a 5-star. Was great at Auburn, but that was not a guy that Nick just pushed hard for to get. Reese Mukes. What about Reese Mukes? Number one center in the state, I believe. One of the top offensive linemen. Alabama, Nick had picked out, I think his name was Ryan Kelly. That was his center that he wanted. And I think he ended up going to the NFL. Like great player, played for several years at Alabama. We just have not been able to go in and stick it to them head to head until Perry Thompson. Perry Thompson, you've heard the term, possibly has broken the seal. Perry Thompson withstood the pressure. Perry Thompson withstood the there's no telling what all went down the weekend before signing day. Heck, maybe even the night of signing day, to hang in there and sign with Auburn. It just hasn't happened, and you just saw it with Perry Thompson. You're seeing it with Antonio Coleman, and then verge possibly of flipping KJ Lacey, another kid from Mobile. I'm not sure that he's one that you could consider Alabama as somebody he's heavily pushing for. But if you get those two guys, then you turn around and it's possibly the all-time kid that Alabama's pushing for, and that's Ryan Williams. If you can pull off this trifecta of Perry Thompson, Antonio Coleman, and Ryan Williams, I mean, is Auburn taking over Mobile? Is Auburn starting to slowly take over Mobile? I mean, Micah DeBose from Viger High School committed to Georgia. He's decommitted now. Many people think that, you can see the predictions already going in, think that Auburn leads. Auburn could possibly land a commitment from him soon. I mean, you got a guy, one of the Auburn greats, Willie Anderson's from the same high school. You don't think that's possible? He could be possibly involved and fired up about this. He's a guy that's a great offensive line coach. I mean, when you go into Mobile and you have success, you're going to have a lot there. There's, even though it's a heavily populated Alabama town and surrounding areas, there's some big time Auburn players that just would love for Auburn to get back involved, get back down there and make some noise. And I personally, this is the kind of things in recruiting that if you follow it, you notice and you understand how important it is. It's not just a 5-star. It's not just that we got a 5-star. It's where we got him and how we got him and how badly Nick Saban wanted Perry Thompson and how badly Nick Saban does not want to lose Antonio Coleman. And then obviously you got hopefully Ryan Williams on the horizon. So this is a heavy hitting recruiting staff. I mean, Antonio Coleman, if you take Mobile out of it, just another big time defensive lineman. I mean, after you've already had your big class in 2024, and you've already started off your 2025 class with some absolute monsters. I'm talking monsters on the defensive line. Got all high 4-star guys, all guys that can play and probably play early. You had Malik Autry, who was one of the first commits of the class. Obviously, you got Antonio Coleman. You have Jordan, I believe it's Jordan Crawford from Parker High School. Jordan Crawford, another big time defensive tackle from the state of Alabama. So that's 3 big defensive linemen, all some of the top recruits in the state of Alabama. And then you throw in Kalen Edwards, who's an absolute, he's a literal mountain. He is a literal mountain, 6'4", 325 from Tennessee. I mean, you've got a little bit of everything on the defensive line already. I mean, you may not have much left. I mean, you literally may not have much left to get. Maybe go get some. You already have Caleb Falk. Maybe you go get another big time pass rusher or an end that can be a little bit more versatile, that can do more things. A lot of these guys are some interior, nose tackle, space eater type guys. And you have some dudes that can be disruptive. Antonio Coleman being one of them. But it's just, man, you're already getting the ball rolling on 2025. And a big key, I think, moving forward, I think it's something to be excited, is to watch out for the Auburn Tigers in Mobile. We're coming for you. So get ready for it. We're coming for you. They're not backing down at any recruiting battle. Do not care. Don't care who it is. They're coming after, and they've made a priority on especially these Alabama, big time Alabama schools. Your any school in Mobile, your Phoenix Cities, your Birmingham schools. You're getting kids out of Thompson. You may land another kid from Thompson. They're coming, and you just got to be ready for it. You just got to be ready for it. So don't take the Perry Thompson thing lightly. It's way more than just a 5-star. Don't take the Antonio Coleman thing lightly. It's way more than just a defensive lineman for Mobile. And then if you get KJ Lacey, if you luck out and get Ryan Williams, look out. We may be planting a flag in Mobile, and it's going to be tough to make it. It's going to be tough to run us out. So if that's not getting you excited enough, let's just continue this 2025 talk, okay? There is a legitimate chance, and I don't really know that I can think of another time where I could possibly say this. When you look at just strictly the top 10 players, just the top 10 ranked players in 2025 in the state of Alabama, there is a legitimate chance that Auburn lands 8 of the top 10. Think about that. The state of Alabama that's been absolutely controlled since 2007. We get who essentially they don't want. You have a legitimate chance to land 8 of the top 10. I would say, I would almost be willing to say that you possibly lead for 8 of the top 10 players in the state of Alabama. And then to go even a little bit further, you have a chance to possibly land, 12 out of the top 15, possibly lead for 12 out of the top 15. That just doesn't happen. Alabama's got a really deep, the state of Alabama's got a really deep class this year. Typically, you saw this 2 years ago when the state of Alabama had one of the deepest defensive line classes maybe ever. And we didn't get a single one of them. It's just been that way since 2007. We've picked off a handful here or there, but never had this much traction this early in a class that is. This class is loaded. This state of Alabama, I think, is loaded with big time prospects. Really, honestly, 1 through maybe 18. Maybe 1 through 18, 1 through, possibly 1 through 20 in the state of Alabama could all play high level Division I SEC football. And then again, there's some kids that rankings are still really early. So like they haven't even gotten through their big summer camps, their spring evaluations, things like that. So a lot of the rankings aren't even necessarily in or updated. Like I think one kid that's really underrated that I feel like Auburn leads for is Dalen Upshaw. Like we're going to go ahead and We're going to go ahead and completely destroy this. I hope we just go ahead and completely destroy this Phoenix City curse within 2 recruiting cycles. Dalen Upshaw, explosive receiver from Central. He's the 23rd ranked player. Like, he's going to shoot up the board in the rankings. Spencer Dallin, one of the early commits, offensive tackle, mountainous giant offensive tackle, 6'6", 290 from Athens. He's another one. When he gets more eyes on him, that's probably going to shoot up the rankings. Like, you got a super deep class right here. And that is where you got to get when you bring a new staff in, you got to try your best to build a wall around your state, or go to your hotbeds and get yourself back in front of all these coaches that have been spurned is not the right word, but I guess ignored a little bit, not shown quite the love that they've needed over the last, several years, several staffs. So I possibly could be more excited about this 2025 class than even the 2024 class. And I didn't even know that could be possible. But when you look at where Auburn stands early with some of the top players in state, and there's going to be players where you're going to get from Georgia. There's going to be players you get from Florida. There's going to be players you get from everywhere. But to see the early success and the standing you have with some of your kids in your hometowns, that's got to get you excited. That's got to get you fired up for recruiting in general, because you know that you're going to be in battles. I said this on Zach's show. Like, I'd go take the best player from Phoenix City, go take the best player from Saraland, Thompson, all these traditional, awesome high schools in the state of Alabama. Just take their best player every year, regardless of position, and you're going to be fine. And we've seemed to put the emphasis on those type schools and those players. You kind of broke a Thompson curse with signing Caleb Harris last year. Do you possibly stand a chance to land another one this year with Anquan Fagans? Just so much. I mean, you could do a whole show breaking down every single one of these pipelines, and more than likely we're going to do that some. More than likely we're going to do that some. But before we do that, let's get locked in and think and talk about what could happen in the 2025 class over the next 30 to 45 days. Okay, over the next 30 to 45 days, there's going to be a push to go ahead and get this class even more kick-started. I think once the dead period is lifted, and you can start talking to kids, and then once spring rolls around and they start having junior days and people coming in, that's a little bit beyond 45 days. But when you start having juniors and stuff like that coming in and visiting practice, you're going to see a ton of, I believe, a flurry possibly of commits over the next, several weeks. Okay. You got so many highly rated guys right on the edge. Obviously, I've already mentioned KJ Lacey. You got Micah DeBose, the number 2 player in the state that's just decommitted at a position of need, offensive tackle. When's the last big time 4-star offensive tackle that could possibly end up being a 5-star? When's the last time we got one of those? And not only that, but from Mobile, like I've been saying, Anquan Fagans could possibly be another 5-star safety. He's a high 4-star right now. KJ Lacey, quarterback, Saraland. I feel very confident saying that he's your 2025 number 1 target at quarterback. And I know that he loves Auburn. He was here the Sunday before signing day with Ryan Williams and all those receivers for the basketball game. I just don't feel like Texas is going to be where he ends up. I think it's going to be Auburn, and I think we're probably going to try to push and get that done here quickly, so that you can go. I said this on Locked On Auburn. It's probably not going to be the deciding factor for Ryan Williams, but if you're checking off a ton of boxes and you can add this one on top of it, that could possibly, it can't hurt. It can't hurt. So if all things are equal, 10 boxes are checked and all things are equal, if this 11th one is the one that puts it over the edge, go ahead, get this guy locked in. I think he's electric. I think he's got a chance to be a good player. He's going to have a few years to develop. He's not going to be needed to be the guy right away. And then getting a quarterback like that's got a little bit of name recognition that I think kids will want to play with. Just sort of, get the ball rolling for things like that. One guy I really like, and I just wish he'd just go ahead and pull the trigger. I really do. I know he loves Auburn. He says all the right things, and then it's like he just doesn't quite want to go ahead and end it. But Alvin Henderson, small school guy, but golly, this running back from Elba is so electric. He's so electric. We did not take a running back in 2024 because Jarquez was coming back and we didn't necessarily need one, but we knew this guy was out there in 2025 and he's that good. I think he's that good. I think he could be a early play a little bit your freshman year and take over your sophomore year type guy. Could do a little bit of everything from running to receiving. I mean, kid is the entire package, and those are just some names to look out for. And then Eric Winters. Eric Winters could be the first one of this list, I think, to possibly go. He's listed as a safety on 3. I think we're recruiting him as a linebacker. He came and played at Auburn. He's from Enterprise, but he played at Auburn High School this past year. They upset Auburn High School. He had a big game. He plays quarterback. He plays quarterback some, kind of like a wildcat type quarterback, and then he plays on defense as well at a 7A school, which is pretty unheard of to play both ways at a 7A school. But I mean, every guy I just listed, like they would be some of the higher ranked players in this year's class. Like they're all high 4-star guys. And you feel really good, like you're in a good spot for all of them. So it's just, I mean, this class is going to it's already started fast. It's already started fast, and it's only going to, I feel like, speed up. Like I feel like it's only going to tick up for Auburn, and things are looking good if you can just kind of keep the momentum going. I think you could see possibly an even more special class this year, it was kind of hard to even fathom. 8 commits this year, or 8 commits so far, is, I feel like, way ahead of where we've been at this point in time in years past. And it's, again, all 8 are very, very highly rated kids. So recruiting is going to be fun. We're going to keep you updated on all the developments. Heck, by the time we record on Tuesday for another episode, we could have another commit by then. Who knows? We'll have to see. The big thing moving forward, I think, the next time we talk about recruiting we're going to be kind of previewing the way the dead period ends at Oat lifts, and portal kids can start taking visits again on January 3rd. So we're going to kind of, hopefully there's going to be some stuff kind of break, talk, and chatter and whispers about what's going to go on the portal, because I think that's a big step. But boy, oh boy, 2025, this class could be special. It could be very, very special. So Hughes said it. He's a relationship guy, and he's going to have 2 years of hooks in these kids, 2 years of relationship building with these kids. Look out. Could be something special. All right. So look, we got a bowl game this weekend. We play tackle football. I think it's something to be excited about. It's a chance to have your first winning season in 2 seasons. You had 2 losing seasons in a row. Another chance to have a big season. A winning season. And it's something that Hugh has said that he is going to look forward. Every time he comes to a new school, they've been able to make a bowl game their first season, which I think is something that, we check that box, and now we're going to go hopefully win it, get to 7-6. And the thing about this game too, you got guys sitting out. Okay, you got some of your guys that are going to the NFL that are opting out. You got young guys that are going to get a chance to play. Let's watch this game with no agenda. Let's just pull for Auburn. You shouldn't necessarily have a quarterback controversy. You got Robbie's gone. So Thorne's clearly the guy. Let's watch this game. None of this so and so sucks. Let's bench him. Let's play the guy. The player on the bench is always better. Let's just pull for Auburn. Let's just pull for Auburn this weekend. Let's just pull for Auburn to pull out this win against Maryland. And regardless of who's sitting out for Maryland, we've got guys sitting out too. Let's just have no agenda and just bug. Let's just bug Saturday, have fun, and hopefully bring home the whatever this trophy is. I don't even know what this trophy is anymore. It's just the Music City Bowl, but it's got new sponsors seemingly every year. But it's just something I'm looking forward to is being able to sit back and watch a game, no agenda, no anything other than just Auburn hopefully pulling out the dub, and then whatever, and then just getting ready for recruiting in the year after that in spring and whatnot. So things to kind of watch out for. Before we go to things to watch out for in the game, let's talk a little bit of practice chatter. So I was wrong on something that I'm actually incredibly happy that I was wrong about. And I don't exactly know when this rule changed, but it's something that I think is even more beneficial and even cooler that these kids get to do. But your early enrollees that went through practices, your DeMarcus Riddicks, your Barbers, your Joseph Phillips, your Malik Blocktons, all these guys, your Bryce Canes, all these guys that went through practice on campus. There used to be where you couldn't travel with that. They could enroll and they could practice on campus, but they could not travel, could not be involved. Otherwise, it would kind of count as a year of eligibility. So they would, if they played, they could play in theory, but that would count as a year of eligibility. So you either have to burn a red shirt or, count it as their freshman year. So typically that doesn't happen, but these guys have traveled. There's footage of them practicing. And I think that's huge. That's even bigger. That's more practices. That's getting a road trip under your belt before you go in. It's not really a road trip because it's not going to be a super hostile environment, but getting that road trip atmosphere, that road trip feel. It's not at home. I got to pack my bag. I got to wake up in a hotel. I got to get used to this whole grind. Like, these guys are going to be so far ahead of the game, and a couple of them are big time turning heads already. DeMarcus Riddick, from the people that I've talked to, he could possibly be. He's definitely the fastest linebacker in the room already. There's some that he could be as fast as a lot of your DBs. I mean, he could be the fastest safety on the field for Auburn if they were to put him at safety. He's just but he's a linebacker. There's some footage of him, nothing more than just hitting a sled, but it's just quick explosion. He's long. He's got room to add, good weight. You're talking this guy could be a 6'3", 235 heat-seeking missile that you could line up at any linebacker position. He could come off the edge. There's just been people raving over this kid already in practice, and I selfishly wish he could play Saturday. I wish he could, but I don't want him to. I wish he could, but I don't want him to, because I don't want to get in that whole, having to burn a red shirt, whatever type scenario. But he's having such a good early showing that it kind of changes your idea of what you may or may not need from the portal. So that's something to watch out for. That's something to be excited about. Dude is absolutely turning heads. DeMarcus Riddick. Another name who I've been high on for a long, long time. Okay. I've been high on since he came in, and since he, you know, since we talked about him coming into camp and showing out, Bryce Kane, he has already come in. He's practicing and he's turning heads and he's quote unguardable, is what I was told. When he came to a camp early in the summer last year, and supposedly outperformed outperformed even Cam Coleman, who was at the same camp, like best player on the field. Him and Walker White they threw together. They snuck into Auburn High School, according to Jeffrey Lee, and from On Three, snuck into the Auburn High School field and threw more together. Like this dude is ready to play. He's somebody that's going to be really hard to keep off the field. And the thing is, in the portal, one of the big things you're looking for is I got to have you're thinking you got to have a big time slot guy and you got to have a big time outside guy. Well, if Bryce is already at the point where he's turning again, these guys are performing so well early that they may be changing portal needs. Okay, changing portal needs. So early on, you're already getting some big time, production, big time looks from guys, your freshman class that's so heralded. You're already getting guys sort of turning heads. So something big to watch. And then as far as the game goes, we've talked about what to look at in the game. We've talked about Keontae Scott moving to outside corner. I personally love him closer to the ball. I do. I'm just being honest. I like him at nickel. I think he's a freak there. I think he affects the passer. He can rush the passer. He didn't have a ton of sacks or stuff like that, but he affected the play when he came off the edge. He makes plays in the backfield, but there's something to be said to being able to lock down a side of the field, being able to lock down a top receiver. And if Keontae can be that guy that eliminates the opposing team's best receiver, then I'm all for that. He may not have 60 tackles, he may not have a ton of big time stats, but if it's just I'm just blanketing the best player on the field every game, that can be an absolute huge asset as well. So that's something I'm looking forward to watch. There's going to be there's going to be some young defensive linemen they're going to have to play. I think he goes by DJ. It was Deron Reed when he signed, but I think it's DJ Reed is what he goes by now. He's going to have to play this weekend. So we'll get a little sneak peek of DJ Reed. What do we put out there at wide receiver? Like, what does your wide receiver room look like? That could be something. That could be something to watch. So a lot of things. It's not just another Auburn game. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of storylines to watch. I personally can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to just sit on the couch or wherever I watch it and have no agenda, no desire other than hoping that we pull out the win and have our first winning season in 3 years. I guess 2 years. I mean, you had 2 losing seasons in a row. I'd love to have finish this one off with a bang, have a winning season against a good coach, against a good team, and then just snowball that momentum and keep it rolling. So it looks like I'm trying to catch up. It looks like there was some breaking news as I was recording. If you remember when Auburn played Cal this year, they had a quarterback named Sam Jackson V. I don't think he played the whole game. I think he played a little bit, and he was, sort of like their their Nick Marshall-esque type player that could run and can make plays with his legs. It looks like Auburn has signed Sam Jackson the fifth. It's going to be interesting to see. Is I think he actually played, or he has some familiarity with Peyton Thorne. I think they possibly played high school together or played at some point at some level together. Yeah, he was a wide receiver for Peyton Thorne at his high school. One of his best friends. So is he going to come in and be a wide receiver? Is he going to come in and be a explosive sort of backup, change-up type quarterback? That's a good little ad right there. Could be a sneaky good addition. So a little bit of a breaking news there at the end. That's interesting. I'm going to be very curious to see how that plays out, because that kid could fly. That kid could play, and you throw him in the lineup. Let's see what happens. We like to have those change of pace type guys. So that could be one to watch. So guys, enjoy the weekend, enjoy the game, and just soak it in. Just soak it in. Enjoy the recruiting over the next few weeks. We're going to get back together on Tuesday, recap the game, recap New Year's, and get 2025 started off on the right foot. And 2024 started off on the right foot, and just get after it. Just get after it. Hopefully we'll have a whole year of Top Button podcasts to just stack on, have a lot of fun in the process. So appreciate it, guys. Have a great rest of the weekend. Happy New Year. Stay buttoned.